Namaskaram. Good evening. Hearty welcome to the second day of National Workshop I Am for India, organized by ATMA Foundation. ATMA Foundation is a voluntary organization based out of Thrissur, Kerala, working for the individual empowerment, family welfare, and community development. As you must have seen in the video, ATMA has 11 projects, 6 major campaigns, and regular programs in areas like child protection, education, empowerment, family welfare, art and culture, digital and financial empowerment, and disaster relief and rehabilitation. If you would like to get notifications about ATMA programs in future, please drop an email to info@atmafoundation.org. I also request all our viewers today to subscribe to this YouTube channel. You may also visit our website www.atmafoundation.org to know more about us. Now, let us begin today's program. Let me extend a hearty welcome to all our viewers. As our keynote speaker for today's session, I am honored to welcome Mrs. Harsha Murlidhar. I invite Ms. Parvati, ATMA volunteer, to welcome the speaker.
Good evening, viewers. I am very happy and honored today to welcome Srimati Harsha Murlidhar to our platform. Harsha ji started her career as an entrepreneur nearly 20 years back. Her passion for knowledge led her to explore the wisdom in the Bhagavad Gita. And now, years later, she is a teacher of the Bhagavad Gita, and she finds ways to impart the wisdom of the Gita in simple, fun, and easy ways. She is a true multitasker. Very easily, she dons the roles of a gardener, of a mental health advocate. She also does comparing. She's an event organizer. She's an avid reader and still loves to identify herself as a student. Her goal in life, she would say, is to spread happiness and love to all around and make the world a better place to live. Who better to talk to us about the topic of transformation? I'm very honored to welcome you, Harsha ji, to our platform today to talk to us about intellectual transformation. Let me also extend a hearty welcome to all our viewers for joining us today. Happy listening to all of you. Over to you, Harsha ji.
Thank you, Parvati ji. Am I audible? Yeah. Okay. First,
Yes,
I think I'd like to place on record a very, very warm thank you, because you guys are doing fabulous work, and I'm really touched to be a part. A very simple, small contribution that I can do. So thank you so much. Atma Foundation is amazing. So I request everybody to just check them out. And today, the topic that has been given to me is intellectual transformation. Now, why do we need transformation at all in the first place? Right? So, transformation always means you get to do something better, right? And since this is a national workshop, I for India, we're always busy telling, how things can be done in a better manner. This should be done better. That should be done better. This is not good enough. That is not good enough. But what I have learned through Puja Gurudev also is like when you change, the world around you changes. So intellectual transformation, the model that we're going to do today, it talks about change in you. So this is very practical. This is very doable. You don't need anybody else. You don't have to go around asking like, you do this, you do that. It's so important. It is so simple. And it just needs a little bit of clarity in thinking differently, because if you think the same way, then things are not going to be the same, right? You have to think different to make a change. Yeah, so can I request you to start the presentation? Thank you. Yes, so this is a beautiful project. It was called Transforming Indians to Transform India. So instead of a big thing, we start with change in ourselves. And as I said before, our module today is going to be intellectual transformation. Can I have the next slide, please? Yeah, so all of us, we think we're just one, right? But actually we have three different instruments in us. First is the body, second is the mind, and third is the intellect. Now, the body can't decide for itself, right? The mind and intellect tells it what to do, and that's when it does. So imagine if the body had a mind of its own. I would be talking to you and suddenly you should run away somewhere, right? So it doesn't work like that. So body is there, the mind is there, but the decision-making authority, the one that decides everything for us, right? The thought process, that is the intellect. That is the seat of all our values. That is the seat of all our decision-making skills. So if that intellect is not clear, then all our decisions are going to be wrong. They are not going to be the best. And if they are not going to be the best for us, we are not going to get the most out of life. So we understand that the importance of the intellect. If we don't understand the importance of our intellect, if the intellect is muddy, then things are not going to be clear. And without clarity, we cannot succeed at anything. And I'm sure all of you want to succeed, right? None of us will say, oh, no, I'm okay about failing. No, all of us want to do the best, be the best. So one of the parameters for this is intellectual clarity. And that is what we're going to see today. Yeah. So next slide, please. So always we first start with, what is intellectual transformation? Oh, it sounds like, sounds difficult. What is it, right? To identify and achieve our life's vision, right? Each person's life's vision is different. Your parameter of life is different than what my parameter might be. But this is applicable to all, right? So to identify and achieve our life's vision through what? Through discrimination. Do I have the capacity to understand what is right for me and what is not right for me? Most of us are living life by rote, if you notice, right? There is a set pattern that has been set. We think that is the parameter of success. We think that that is the ultimate. Not only do I fall into that rut, I make the next generation also fall into that rut. So discrimination about seeing first what is good for me, what is not good for me. After understanding what is good for me, am I able to persevere in that path? That is very important again to do. And with perseverance, am I able to concentrate and focus and move forward in that path? Am I able to inquire, that is this the right thing for me every time? And decision making, right? If you see all of our life, we are only making decisions. Whether to come to this session or not also is a decision that you have made, isn't it? What to choose, what subject do I take, what job do I take, Even in the job, so many different things. So every time this decision making skill is so important. So when we are talking about intellectual transformation, we don't even know first what we want, right? So first we have to learn what we want. After wanting, we should know how to persevere it with full concentration, keep inquiring whether I'm on the right path or whether I've moved on, and the skill of decision making. So this is what we're going to see today. So we're going to make it very easy for you, right? So uh, first, let's see. Yeah, next slide. First, we'll see why do we need this intellectual transformation? What happens, right? So the acronym that we're going to use here is to transform intellectually, we have to be clear. So we're going to see CLEAR, what it means in the next 40 odd minutes. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah. So according to the statistics, it says only 25% of Indian professionals are considered employable, right? So right from we got into the pre-KG, we did our schooling, we did our college, and at the end of it, we say that you're not employable. Why? What is the difference here? What is happening? That is what we're going to see now. How many of us are, doing things just because it was told to us, than seeing whether we like doing it or not? Now, I'd like you to do something. Just take 30 seconds out and think something that you don't like doing at all, right? And then imagine doing that for all of your life. How are you going to feel? Are you understanding what I'm trying to say? Right? Most of us don't even know what we want to do in life. We pick up something just because we think that it is gives us great money or great name or great fame or whatever, and then we end up doing things which are not our cup of tea. So what happens? I'm not bothered. So complacency strikes in, right? Think. And worse than that, let me give you a very nice example for this to understand. All of us carry so much of our body weight all around everywhere, isn't it? We don't feel like, oh, it's so difficult. Why? Because it's our weight. It's something that's inherent to me, so it's not a problem. Suppose I give you another 50 kgs to carry everywhere. How difficult it will be, right? When we are not thinking clearly, when we are taking on things which we don't like to do, or which we are not, convinced about doing, but because somebody else has told it to me, I'm going to do it. That is going to become such a big burden on us. And especially during this COVID time, if you see the rate of suicides has gone up so much. People thought that, nobody even thought far. There was no intellectual clarity that this is just a phase. This will also change. There are problems that are going to come everywhere. In everybody's life it comes. But that momentary decision, no clarity. Right? Can I have the next slide, please? So it's very important to understand that most of us, whether we realize or not, we are suffering from intellectual deficiency. So it's not that we don't have it, it's just that we don't want to think or even apply. We're just following set formats that have been given. Oh, this is success. This is success. This is success. You should do this. You should do this. You should do this. No, everybody's life is different. Everybody's choices are different. So as I said, we are going to see how to be clear in life. So the first alphabet that comes in that is C. So here C stands for choice. Now just think, as I said, from the minute we are born, right, we have to keep making choices. Now, when there is a good choice and when there is a bad choice, it is very easy to choose. All of us have a moral compass. Most of us know what is right, what is wrong, isn't it? But how do I choose between the lesser good, or how do I choose between the better evil? And everywhere there is not cut and right. So how do I choose that? Think. It's a very interesting question. Choices, choices, choices. And as Parvati ji said, Bhagavad Gita, which is such an amazing book, it's the manual of life. In that, Arjuna's problem was also choice, right? Which one should he choose? Should he behave as a student? Should he behave as a son? Should he behave as a grandson? Or should he behave as a warrior? Or should he behave as a person who's been wronged? Which one does he choose? So that's why I said the choice, how to make the right choice. So at every point of time, we are bombarded with choices. We have to keep making choices. And what happens? Those choices decide your future. Think right now, in this present moment, whatever you are a product of all the choices that you've made till now. Think, isn't it? So you have to understand the importance of choice. So what is the right choice? Now, again, our scriptures make it so easy and so clear for us that at every moment you have two choices. One is called the path of good, and the other is called the path of the pleasant. There is no bad, right? There is one which is pleasant, and then the other is that which is good. Now, let me give you an example, right? I think examples make life more clearer. Uh, Suppose I have to write an exam this Sunday. I have to write an exam and I have to study for it, obviously. Right? Most of your students, you think, oh, at this age also you're studying, there is no age, right? You can study even at 85. I know people who are still studying and enjoying and liking what they do because they have the clarity. Yes. So I have to write an exam this Sunday. And there is an amazing movie that is coming out, which I've been waiting for the past, because of this COVID and all that. I've been waiting for the past 1.5 years. Now I have a choice. I have to make a choice. Do I watch the movie or do I study? Now, which is the path of good for me? Which is the path of pleasant for me? My senses are enjoying if I watch the movie, right? Exam, we can write later also, yes, or we can just compromise on that also. So every time we have to make the choice. Now, if you choose the path of the pleasant, what happens generally is you miss out on the path of good. Think. Whereas after writing your exam, you can still watch the exam, you can still watch the movie. Nobody stopped you. So momentarily, you have given up what you like to do what you really like in the long run. Right? Once you watch the movie, it's over, it's gone, it's finished. But when you're writing, you've taken this up, you do it well, and then enjoy that also. So it is just simple way of making a decision. Just see what it is catering to. Is it catering to your momentary pleasure, or it is helping you in your long time? So how do I do that? You need a calm and focused mind first, right? Think. And we have to let knowledge than emotion, because if you see emotion comes in one big huge torrent, makes you go up and down, and then it goes away, and then the next emotion comes in, right? So you cannot base your decisions on passing emotions. It has to be knowledge. And we waiting to think, that okay, once this problem gets over, this problem gets solved, this situation changes, then I'm going to go and jump in full on into it. It is almost like, asking. It's again Puja Gurudev's example where he says, like, a man is standing on the beach and he's waiting. So another gentleman comes up to him and asks him, like, what are you waiting for? Oh, I'm waiting for the waves to subside. After that, I will go swimming. Right? The waves are never going to subside. Problems, situations, all are part of life. They are going to keep coming. They are what keeps it interesting, right? Every time you'll have a unknown problem coming. When you overcome and you come over that, then you understand how much more you have done. So problems, unknown things, challenges are all part of life if you decide to make it an adventure. If you decide to get upset with every simple thing or everything that is coming through, then everything is a huge crisis. So let's not stick to our comfort zone, because real growth actually happens beyond our comfort zone. So challenge yourself every day. Somebody sent me a message. I'm trying to learn math, but I'm failing miserably at it. I said, please enjoy it. Enjoy your failures. Who said you have to succeed every time? It is the learning that matters. Somewhere this parameter, that's what I'm telling you, these parameters of success that have been kind of heaped on us stop us from doing so many things which we enjoy doing, right? So C stands for choice is yours. Always the choice is yours. What is the right choice? You have to choose whether you want it to be momentary or you want it to be long term. Momentary pleasure, long term long-term joys. It's your choice. But you will miss out on, if you choose momentary pleasures, then you miss out on the long-term joys. It's as simple as that. But if you choose the long-term joys, it might start, it might be difficult, but in the end, you encompass both. So, choice is always yours. Yes, can I have the next slide, please? What you're saying and all is very nice, Harshaji. But what if we had a formula? We are all people like, so many things and all we can't remember. You just give us a formula for decision making or a formula on how to set your goal and all that. Right? So we have a very interesting video coming up from Puche Gurudev. So may I request the video, please?
Work is inspired work, where the worker never understands tiredness, exhaustion. The joy of that work itself replenishes the true worker. Durena hyavaram karma, buddhi yoga dhananjaya. Hey Arjuna, please understand, as compared with the buddhi yoga, where you have got an ideal and you are pursuing to reach the ideal. It's an inspired enthusiasm with which you are living. That joy of true work is any day nobler than all the amount of buckets of sweat and toil that you bring out of you, the exhaustion and fatigue you bring about, physical. That is only labor. That is not work. Durena Buddhau Sharanam Anvecha. My dear boy, work in the world outside. Who said no? But Buddhau Sharanam Anvecha. Maintain your ideal and work on in the world outside. And when you are maintaining an ideal, let not the ideal be a small ideal. Say that $1 million I want. If the moment I earn 1 million, I am retired. Because you may get it. Thereafterwards in life you are dead. You have nothing to do. Never. Keep the goal highest. So high that you will never reach. Sanji, why should I keep an ideal which I cannot reach? Reaching the ideal is not the goal. Striving to reach it, that is the moment when you grow. Once you've reached your goal, your ideal, everything is ended. Thereafterwards you have to inquire how to die decently. Because you have finished. Everything has been done. Never should you reach the goal. Keep the goal high. Don't say there is an impractical method. No. Because reaching the goal is not the goal. Striving to reach there is the goal. Try to reach out to the goal. You grow day by day, week by week. Buddhau sharanam anvecha. Kripanaha phalahetaha. Those who are seeking only the phala, the result, and wanting only that you sweat and toil only to get something, they are kripanaha. Kripanaha meaning miserly. Miserly means miser is a guy who has got the money in his pocket, but he doesn't want to, even though very hungry, he doesn't want to eat. He goes in front of the restaurant and smells the various food, because that is free. Why don't you go and eat if you are hungry? Look, it's a new note, $20. If I eat, I'll have to break it. No, keep it. Why? To spend the money is painful. Therefore you keep it. And drink cold water from the local tap. Why? Anyway I am going in the evening home. Home there will be food, so I will eat there. Till then you suffer. This is called a miser. A miser is one who has the ability and capacity, and yet he will not use it because he doesn't want to give up that little I mean, that money or that what you have got. There is a wonderful chance of living your life in inspired enthusiasm at all times, at the peak. And yet, you and I will not do that. Why? Because of our attachment to the ego and selfish desires. And make a mess of our own life. You are kripana. See? When you are inspired and working, you won't know the exhaustion of work. Doctors will have to take ECG to understand whether I am overstrained or not. You ask me, I am never overstrained. Why? I am inspired in this work that I am doing. Anybody who is inspired, they don't care with the worries and anxieties. In our own homes, when there is a marriage, the ladies work day and night and day with over enthusiasm. And when the marriage is over and the girl has walked away, you find everybody collapsing in wherever they are standing. For 3 days they won't get up from there. Neighbors will have to come and feed them. How is it that at 8 a.m. you collapsed? But till 8 a.m. you are all enthusiastic. That is because the shadi, the marriage, and that girl has now gone. Inspired work, you work, but you will not know the exhaustion or the fatigue. Tirelessly you work when you are inspired. So,
Thank you so much. Amazing video, right? About Gurudev has made things so clear. So there's another example that we see that when mind is hooked on to the higher, how the problems that you think you have don't make any difference at all, right? Suppose you're in the house and suddenly there was a blade and a little bit your leg, got hurt. So you pull the whole house down, telling people are so they are not bothered. They're just throwing things everywhere. Nobody's bothered in the house and all that. You get the whole house down. Same thing as Gurudev says, suppose there's a wedding in the house, right? And the cook has left the knife there and your leg got cut. But since your mind is occupied with so many higher things and so many other things to do, you don't have time for this. You just tie your leg up and just move on, right? Why? Because your mind is on a higher cause. So when the mind is hooked to the higher cause, the lower is dropped automatically, effortlessly, right? So that is going to be our next formula. Can I have the slide, please? So always, as I said, that we have the choice, right? So when I choose to drop the lower for the higher, it is called a sacrifice. You can see this everywhere. As I said, between the movie and between the exam, it's your choice. You can choose whether you're sacrificing or whether you are compromising, right? If I am choosing to let go of the higher for the lower, then I compromise, isn't it? It's my job to do it well, but I compromise because I get some, stuff around, and I compromise. I sacrifice the higher ideal. Then I'm compromising, and I can never be happy, right? So it's a simple way of choosing. You see, whenever you choose, right, whether it's a sacrifice or whether it's a compromise. Compromise is going to pull you down. Compromise can never make you happy. You might be momentarily happy because you got some benefit out of it, but in the long run, it is not going to make you happy. It is going to pull you down. It is going to make you feel guilty. Sacrifice, we don't have to speak. There are people, how many of us, we're talking about this national workshop, how many of us have seen Mother India, right? We say Mother India. Mother India is a feeling, right? Mother India is an ideal. We see so many freedom fighters who gave up their lives for an ideal. Think about it. They sacrificed. They did not compromise. I'm trying to understand the difference between this. So when I choose, let me choose always the higher and not the lower, because as Gurudev said, when your mind is hooked on to the higher, you're always working from inspiration. There is no tiredness. You might be exhausted, but there is no tiredness. Why? Because you're always inspired. You can check that in your lives also, right? Another important thing that we need to understand is all of us are seem to be very scared of problems and situations which don't go our way, right? You just think about it. Suppose I give you all the facilities possible and I put you in a room and say 1 year you don't come out, right? You get food, you get your television, whatever you want. You're there only in that room for an hour. Sorry, for a year, and you don't get to come out. Where would you have grown? You wouldn't have grown anywhere. You would have just been complacent. Whereas the same person in that 1 year, the experiences that we go through, right? So much growth could have happened. Like, this is another visualization technique which we suggest. Like, just think about, the most difficult problem that you have faced and come out of. And then see how much growth has happened when you've tried to tackle that problem. You become a completely different person after undergoing that problem. So then how are problems bad? So these are things that we need to think. That's why clear, right? The first is choice is yours. The second we are going to see. Here the second formula, right? The first formula that we've seen is sacrifice versus compromise. So always we have to choose the higher over the lower. And then, can I have the next slide, please? This is a beautiful, beautiful story to understand. A monk passed on his teachings to his disciple and entrusted him with the task of publishing his teachings as a book and passed away. The disciple went around and collected money from the villagers to publish the book. Suddenly, a great famine hit the village, and the monk spent the whole money to help the villagers. After a few years, he again collected money from the villagers, and this time a flood hit the village, and the monk spent all his collected money again to help the village. By this time, the disciple became very old. His disciple now collected money from all the villagers and finally published the book. The master now told them, print this book as the third edition. Now, why do you think he said this is the third edition? This is a very, very interesting and very inspiring story for all of us to understand, right? How, when there's a personal goal and when there is a larger goal, or this, it could be family, it could be society, it could be country, it could be the whole world. Which one do I choose? Isn't it? So every time the larger cause takes precedent over our little cause. Right? That's why he says, print this as the third edition. Can we just click the slide once more? Yeah. So the second formula that we have here, how to choose when there are, yes, it is, if I have to choose between things, always I choose the larger goal than the personal goal. So maximum happiness for maximum people, maximum number of people, for maximum length of time. This is also the Chinmaya Mission motto. And this is also the basis for dharma, right? So this is very important to understand that when I have to choose, always choose maximum happiness for maximum number of people for maximum length of time. So now we have seen two amazing formulas that Gurudev has given. One is always choose sacrifice over compromise, and always choose maximum happiness for maximum number of people for maximum length of time. Isn't it? I think we're getting a little bit clearer. Yes? Can I have the next slide, please? Okay, now we have a very interesting story. So this is a story of a lieutenant who used to enjoy making pictures. So his major asked him once to make draw this thing of a bridge. So he asked him for the architectural value, but our lieutenant had his thing where he used to love to paint. So he makes a beautiful painting, he puts the bridge, and then he makes two children who are playing there. So he shows that thing to the major. Major gets extremely angry. He says, I don't want the kids on the bridge. So he says, fine, no problem. So again, he makes the thing that again the bridge is there, but the children are playing downstairs. So, under the bridge. They are not playing on the bridge. So he takes the same thing. Again, the major gets really, really angry with him and he says, I don't want these children at all. Remove them. So the lieutenant again makes the painting. He makes the bridge. And under the bridge, he makes two tombstones. So the major asks, what is this? For which the lieutenant says, these are the children that you killed in my picture. So what we need to understand is we have to learn how to choose our right career. That is very, very, very important. Just think, the lieutenant's Swadharma was not, the architecture. He was more into painting. So he was thinking on those terms always. So, and the second picture that shows, again, it's very interesting. This is a true thing where every time Chhatrapati Shivaji was taken into a room and different things were put, he would always pick up the sword. So first, in clear stands for choice is yours, right? You make the right choice. And then how do I choose the next thing? That stands for L. Let's see, what do you think is very important in choosing our right career? What would be the driving force behind it? Can I have the next slide, please? We have to learn to love what we do and do what we love. This is, I think, one of the most important points to understand, because all around happiness, that is extremely important. We need to understand that we have to see what we love. That's why I said, if you don't like something and if you're made to do that for all of your life, imagine how painful that is. And all of us, without realizing or not, are doing the same things to our life. Our so-called corporate life, in college, in school, we choose things without having this clarity, right? So this is a beautiful, beautiful quote of Steve Jobs, which we like, and we keep quoting this everywhere. And let's just see that. It says, your work is going to fill a large part of your life. And the only way to be truly satisfied is to do what you believe is great work. If you feel you're making a change, if you feel you're making a difference, then the way you work itself is going to be different. I'll give you a practical live example. Suresh ji thought that he can make a change, so Atma Foundation is born. It's doing such amazing, noble work, helping out people across strata, right? Because he loves what he does, isn't it? And then the only way to do great work is to love what you do. If you haven't found it yet, keep looking and don't settle. This don't settle is so amazing, because only mud settles. We have this thing, if you hear, parents will also say, once the children get settled, I will be peaceful. What do you mean by settling? As Gurudev said, you keep a goal like that, right? Minute you're settled, that's it, you're finished, you're dead. Nothing else to look forward to in life, right? And as with most matter of the heart, you will know when you've found it. You will know. And there are some practical tips also, which we are going to see right now. Yes, can I have the next slide, please? Yes. Okay, before that, we have the example. All of you now, Anand Kumarji has become very famous because the Hindi movie came with Hrithik Roshan also, the Super 30, the movie, right? He loves teaching. And he is the one who took up children, 30 meritorious and talented candidates from economically backward sections. His only criteria is they should have love for the subject, isn't it? And we've seen the movie. We know how much of a difference it has made in everybody's lives. And he has been awarded everywhere. And he's got the special Best Institute in the Country award also. All this started with what? With love. Love for the subject, and I want to do better, a larger cause. Can I have the next slide, please? Thank you. So, how to find your Swadharma? All of us say, okay, if this sounds interesting, I want to do what everybody, you say that this is nice and Swadharma, but how do I find what my Swadharma is? I'm always very confused. I think this is it, but sometimes I think this is not it, right? So there are certain criteria which we can check. Can I have the next slide? Yes. In that, we will get a little bit of clarity. So this is important, and this becomes the third point in our clear. So for anything, we need inquiry. First, I need to start asking the right questions. Most of us don't even question, always busy with our senses. Outside, things are happening. I am also just going on with life. No. We start thinking. That's why it's intellectual transformation. It's all about thinking, right? So we see things which make, we have to now start finding out things that make me happy. I have to see things that inspire me. You might think that it's not a big deal at all, that things that make you happy, right? Somebody came and told me that, uh, what would be your swadharma? I said, I don't know. Let me start thinking about it. Then I thought I enjoy teaching, so let me take that up. Though even I cannot take it up full time, let me do that as a hobby. I like talking to people, I like connecting with people. Let me start doing that more and more. So I took up those parts which I enjoy. Working for a charitable organization, giving something to society that inspires. So you do that. Each person's inspiration can be different. I'm just trying to connect, right? Things which give you a lot of satisfaction, things you enjoy doing. There are people like who are reading a book, they forget everything. Or people who are painting at that time, like, you don't need food, you don't need anything. These are things that you enjoy doing and things that make you feel good about yourself. So this will be different for each and every individual. Why? Because our choices are different. The way we are made is different. So who can inquire? You only can inquire about it. I can't come and do the inquiry for you. So we have to start inquiring. So C is for choice. L is for loving what we do and doing what we love. How do we find out? We start inquiry. This is the single most important thing that we as individuals forget to do. We don't want to inquire. We want to follow. Okay, that person is following, I will also follow that. Whether it's good for me, whether it's not good for me, whether it will suit me, whether it will not suit me, all those things we have to inquire. Again, I remember a very interesting example. Two friends went to write an exam, right? And one person was writing, and the other friend decided to copy. So the first friend who wrote, he got 95%. The other person who wrote got 0, though he copied the same exact thing. Why? Because one person was writing the physics paper, the other one was writing the chemistry paper. So each of our lives are different. So there are no preset answers for anything. It is your life, your problems, your choices, your decisions, which you have to take. So it all starts with inquiry. Yeah. Can I have the next slide, please? Okay. So now I have chosen, right? I am loving what I do and I'm doing what I love. I've also started inquiry. Now, how do I stay on the path? That's why when we say Swadharma, it is not only your natural inclination, you also have to have a passion for it, and you also should have the perseverance to follow that path. That is very important. Because all of us start off strong, but how do we finish it strong? Yes? Next slide. So we have to learn to act from inspiration. So C was choice, L was love, E was inquiry, A is act from inspiration. How? If I'm going to keep thinking about what's happened in the past, that is going to affect what I'm going to do now. Or if I'm going to be daydreaming about what's going to happen about the future, again I'm wasting my precious mental energy, where anything you want to do, you can do only now. Think this is the only moment you have where you can act. Whether you want or not, you cannot go to the future and act. Future has to become present. That's when you can start acting. Past is already gone. Even the worst thing that happened is gone. Even the best thing that happened is also gone. Why? Because life keeps moving on. So we have to learn how to live in the present, be our best dynamic personality in the present. That doesn't mean that you throw away your past or throw away your future. Past has given you so much experience. So learn from that. Right? Future, it is teaching you how to plan. So learn from that. But what are we doing? We don't do that. We take all the guilt of the and regret of the past and put it on our heads now, and we don't think. No clarity. Why? Because mind is busy thinking about the past all the time. Mind and intellect think. Or we are always anxious about the future. What is going to happen? What is going to happen? What is going to happen? Whatever is going to happen is going to happen. We'll figure it, that problem when it comes. Since our life itself is an adventure, we'll face that also, and we'll grow from that also. right? So live in the present moment. Don't become complacent, right? Even if you reach number one, if you're going to settle there, as I said, only mud settles, right? You have to constantly keep striving because the whole world is also striving. Minute you become complacent, you will become irrelevant. That is a fact. So it is not about the world, it is not about anybody. It is about you and you striving towards your goal. And as Gurudev has said so beautifully, so high that you can reach it at all. Because what happens is when you are reaching, your growth happens. When problems come, when situations come, your growth happens. And that is what is important. And don't get carried away by success. Because the people who like you today are the same people who can throw you down tomorrow. So we have to learn to work from happiness and not for happiness. Oh, that person said a nice thing about me, so I'm going to. No, no. Right? So are we clear? Live in the living present. Don't become complacent. Don't get carried away either by success or by failure. Why? Because part of the game, that's it, right? Imagine now the Indian team keeps winning all the time. Is that possible? Or if it keeps losing all the time, it's not possible. In a game, there are times you win, there are times you lose. That's okay. It's the game that matters. It's the passion for playing the game. It's how to get better. That is more important. Clarity, clear. Let's see. Can I have the next slide? Yes. And then the most important thing, all this has happened, but how do I get it into action? That is very important. What happens is generally we are very clear in thoughts, but when it comes to action, right, that's where the hurdles come. All of us know exercise is good. All of us know that it is very healthy and we need to get up and we need to move and we need to walk and it's all good. But when it comes to doing, tomorrow we do. Day after tomorrow we'll do. And then what happens? Then we say that, are you not worth it? I think early morning, who wants to get up and go? So if thought is not changed into action, it is completely useless. So how do I do? I develop a routine. What kind of routine? Again, this is an amazing thing given by Chanakya ji. Yes, which is first you start reflecting, right? Okay, what is happening? Then let me recognize, as in, what is the problem? If you're going to do this as problem solving, also it's an amazing thing. You recognize where the shortcoming is. Then you remove that. And then you replace it with something better. And always the goal has to become better and better. So you rise. Isn't it? Just think. You see how you can apply it to yourself. Suppose I have something which I'm not very comfortable about. I have a bad habit. So unless and until first I think I have one, I won't even change. So first I start reflecting, okay, there is something in me that needs a little bit of change. Now let me see, let me start to recognize what it is. Okay, so this could be the problem, right? So I have recognized now what the problem is. After that, if I sleep on it, it's not going to work, right? So I have to remove it. Removing it, if you substitute it with something higher, you can remove it and then rise towards your goal. So these are the 5 R's, right? So C for choice, L for loving what you do and doing what you love. E is for inquiry. Always keep inquiring within. Why am I doing it? Right? There are so many. Suppose there are 2 ways to earn money. I can earn it in the right path. I can earn it in the wrong path. So if my inquiry is not on, how will I know whether I've sacrificed or compromised? So always the inquiry has to be on. A, act from inspiration, because otherwise it is, as Gurudev said, it's just labor. When you're acting inspired, that's when it's called work. And R is for routine. Have these 5 R's in place, keep your checkpoints on, and enjoy life. Think. So I hope this has got a little bit of clarity, and I hope you're a little bit more clear. Yes, so please remember clear. Yes, can I have the next slide, please? Make this a part of your routine. We've already spoken on this. Yes, to summarize, C stands for choice is yours, right? L stands for love what you do and do what you love. E is for inquire. A is for act from inspiration. And R is from routine. So are we clear till here? Can I have the next slide, please? Yeah, next slide. Yes. So Gurudev gave us the pledge that we have. In that, we have this line, which is very, very applicable for intellectual transformation. Right? So it says, ever ready to fight against all low tendencies and false values within and without us. Right? So not only inside, outside, everywhere we are ready to always give up the lower, give up the false for the higher. So I hope all of you enjoyed this session. Yes, can I have the next slide, please? Yeah, right. Yes. Thank you so much for your time. And I thoroughly enjoyed the session. Hope all of you enjoyed the same too. So over to you, Parvati ji. Thank you so much for this opportunity.
Thank you very much, Srimati Harsha. That was a very thought-provoking session. Our sincere gratitude to you for joining us today and for giving us so many great insight into how we can transform ourselves. Thank you very much. Thanks also to all our viewers for staying with us. Right now, we have posted a link for a feedback form in our YouTube chat box. Please click on the link, fill up and submit the form. You will receive your participation certificates immediately. In case you have any difficulty, please let us know. Tomorrow, on day 3 of the national webinar, we have Ms. K.S. Yashaswini from Chennai. She will be speaking to us on the topic Universal Outlook. The link will be emailed to those who have already registered. Others, please register so that you don't miss out on this great session. Or you can get directly notified by subscribing to this YouTube channel and clicking the bell button. Do subscribe to our YouTube channel if you have not already done so. Thank you. Good night.